أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم واتل ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك لا مبدل لكلماته ولن تجد من دونه ملتحدا واصبر نفسك مع الذين يدعون ربهم بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. يا بسم الله. He muted that. You might need to.
Prophet, follow what has been revealed to you of your Lord's scripture. There is no changing his words, nor can you find any refuge except with him. Content yourself with those who pray to their Lord morning and evening, seeking his approval. And do not let your eyes turn away from them out of desire for the attractions of this worldly life. Do not yield to those whose hearts we have made heedless of our Quran, those who follow their own low desires, those whose ways are unbridled.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ, and recite, O Muhammad, what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. These verses coming after the story of Surah Al-Kahf, the story of the people of the cave, of this young man who went to the cave and seek refuge there from their people. That's a very beautiful transition from the first story to the following story. How's that? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after He told us about the story of these young men, He's telling us, if you want to know more about the story of the previous nations, where to seek that? Who you should turn to, where to find the true about them. Not what the people of book saying. Because remember, the whole idea, the people of Mecca went to the people of the book, asking them about the story, they giving them information about them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were challenging the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after He explained what's the story of the young men who basically went to the cave to protect themselves from their people, Allah is saying to Muhammad, and recite what has been revealed to you, Ya Muhammad, from the book of your Lord. If you want to know more about them and about other subjects, you read more of what we have revealed to you. Also, because another beautiful meaning the ulama found out, that they said, now He told them a little bit about the story of the people of the cave. That's right. It's an interesting story. It's a miracle. So you might get excited and you say to yourself, the people of Mecca, they will say, wow, that's such a nice story. There's a lot of lessons and we shared so many lessons from it. You would say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling them now, since they are excited, you want more of this guidance? You want more of these stories that will inspire you to do good? Read the Quran. Don't look for the stories in other places. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the reason that this verse comes right after the story of the people of the cave, because the mushrikun, the people of Mecca, and the people of the book, known at that time that they like to argue a lot and to ask about details that are relevant. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they might ask about other story. Ya Muhammad, tell us about the people of the cave. Next thing you know, Ya Muhammad, tell us about the people of the river. What about the people of the mountain? What about the pyramids? What about this? What about that? And the da'wah transfer from being focused on what Allah wants to be what they want. So he telling Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't bother yourself with all these questions. Come and focus on what the message of your Lord is, what Allah have revealed to you, ya Muhammad. So he kind of went closing the door for more suggestions, more questions about historical events, or maybe even fairy tale that they have. Wow, is that true? Is not true? And so forth. Is that clear? So it's so beautiful how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring this verse right after the story of the people of the cave. Utlu, the word utlu, if you notice, I said recite. What Abdullah said? Follow. Did what you said, that's right? You forgot? Follow. Okay, it's interesting. There's a difference between recite and follow or not? There is a difference between the two. Which one is correct? Follow. Why? Because he's from your... Okay. Follow or recite. Okay, Aqib. Okay, let's see. Actually, Aqib is absolutely correct. The word utlu comes from the word tala. What's tala? You say, دخل عمار فتلاه عمار. Ammar enter, then after that, another Ammar came after him, which is our guest from today. We have Ammar from New York. It's New York? That's right, not New Jersey, New York, yeah. So enter from Ammar, then Ahmed followed him. What followed? Talah, the word tala. But why we say reciting tala? What's the connection between following and reciting the Quran? Why we use the same word? The original root of the word tala, tilawatul Quran, okay, which is tala, the original root of it means something follows something else. No, but you see reciting. Tilawatul Quran. Al-ulama said because when you start reading, the verse follow the second, and one verse follow another, one verse follow another. The nature of this Quran, it is something when you start reading, you don't stop. You're not enough with one. You say one, then it follow another one, and follow it with another one, follow it with another one. And so that you use only the word tilawa for something that you enjoy so much and you keep going. That's why you don't say tilawa to story. You don't say that. Because story might read it unless it's very excited, like poetry or very good writing. So if you keep writing one line after another, one sentence after another, we call this tilawa or recitation. So that's where it comes from. But also definitely tala, it means recite. So you know recite and follow, it's the same meaning. It means read the verse after another in this Quran and also follow what's in these verses. So follow the verse with another verse and also follow what's in the verse. واضح؟ إذن أتلو يعني اقرأ الآية بعد الآية واتبع ما فيها. The two meanings, and it's very interesting. طيب. And the word recite or follow, this order, command, it means it is something has to be continued practice, something you continuously practice. فعل الأمر يدل على الاستمرار. In Arabic language, when Allah give an order, it means something you have to continue doing. So that means that reciting the Quran is not only in Ramadan. Following the orders of the Quran is not only certain verses that you follow. You have to follow all the verses of the Quran. It's not only occasionally. It's not only for old people. It's not only for those people. It's everyone. So that fi'l al-amr, the order, the command of itlu, يدل على الاستمرار والعموم. And it's another beautiful meaning you just take from that verb or that order or command. طيب. ما أوحي إليك من ربك. So you follow what it has been revealed to you from your Lord. You don't follow people's desires, people's opinions, people ijtihad. You don't follow all these things, man-made law. Okay, what you need to follow, what you need to focus on is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have revealed to you. But that doesn't mean that you don't follow the advices of doctors or the law of the land. That there's no contradiction. But the thing that you take it sacred, you take it as a religiously, this is a religious command, is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have revealed in His book. So if someone else tell you, you have to do this, Allah likes this or hates this or wants you to do that, it's only where is it? Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send it down? Did Allah reveal it to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or not? أُتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ. You follow and you recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. And this means you follow everything was revealed to you. And that includes the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran. As in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I have given Al-Quran and what is similar to it. قَالَ أُوتِيتُ الْقُرْآنَ وَمِثْلَهُ مَعَهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَهُ ثُمَّ إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا بَيَانَهُ. Allah said in the Quran, recite what we have revealed to you, and we will explain what we have sent to you. Al-Sunnah is nothing but an explanation to what the Quran is. That's right. Allah said in the Quran, pray. So Sunnah comes to explain how to pray. Simple example. So this explanation of the Quran, Allah said in Surah Al-Qiyamah, ثُمَّ إِنَّا عَلَيْنَا بَيَانَهُ. We the one who will explain it. So that means every Sunnah has to do with the religion. It came from Allah to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As said, Ya Rasulullah, should I write everything you say? He said, اكتب فوالله ما يخرج من هذا إلا الحق. وأشار إلى فيه. He said, write, only truth comes from here. And Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As was known that he is among the one who write the Sunnah, document the Sunnah, not the Quran. حتى لا يقول قائل إنه كان يقصد القرآن. He one of the people who known to be documenting the Sunnah, not the Quran. He's not one of the writer of the Quran, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has two group of writers. Those who document the Quran were not allowed to write the Sunnah. And those who document the Sunnah, they document the Sunnah by itself. Why? So it will never mix the Quran and the Sunnah. Like what you see in the Bible. There is mix between the Sunnah and the Quran, or the revelation. So Jesus' actions is part of what we call today in our religion Sunnah, what he did. But in the Bible, they are all mixed together. You can't tell what's the difference. طيب. Here, لا مبدل لكلماته. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so recite what has been revealed to you from the book of your Lord. And it's very interesting. ما أوحي إليك من كتاب ربك. How about we do this deal? So we learn a little bit how to contemplate on the Quran, even if you don't know Arabic. Anytime you see one of Allah's name used in the verse, try to think the connection between the name and the meaning of the verse. So what's Rabb means? The one who takes care, the one who gives, the one who sustains, the one who provides you with all blessings, the one who raises you, creates, all these meanings, okay, owns you. طيب, what will be when he said the book of your Lord? He didn't say the book of the most knowledgeable. You might think book and knowledge goes together. He used the word Rabb to refer to himself. What's the connection? The Quran, it comes from the one who created you, the one who made you, the one who raised you. Rabbi bin ni'am, da'an ma'na Rabb. The one who blessed you with all things. So can you imagine the one who have done all this to you? When he revealed to you a guidance, when he revealed to you a message, it will be something wrong, it will be something alien to you, it will be something that doesn't fit you. He's no doubt it's impossible. No doubt He created you, so He knows you the best. That's why He will provide the best for you. He is the one who's been always taking care of you. So now He's not only taking care of you physically, He's now taking care of you spiritually and about the next life and what will guide you in the next one. So it fits properly with the meaning. Because if He's the only knowledgeable, the book of the most knowledgeable, it will be only about knowledge and information. But here it's way more than that. It's a very personal touch. Make you trust this book, connect to this book more than anything else. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا مبدل لكلماته, which is none can change His words. None can change His words. And what that means, يعني no one can ever add something to the Quran, not from it. No one ever can take out from the Quran something that's not from it. No one can switch and change words or the order of the words in the verse. No one. It is completely saved and protected. Absolutely. It's by the letter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We have sent down the dhikr and we're going to protect it. And the protection for the Quran necessitates the protection of the Sunnah. إِنَّ حِفْظَ الْقُرْآنِ يَلْزَمْ مِنْهِ حِفْظُ السُّنَّةِ. Ibn al-Hazm rahimahullah said a beautiful statement. He said, it's impossible that Allah will save us the words without saving for us the meanings of the words. If the meaning of these words are not saved, this Quran is not saved. What's the point to have words you don't know what it means? That Allah said, Salli, pray. I don't know what that prayer is. If it's impossible, in order for the Quran to be saved, the Sunnah must be saved. Is that clear? And that's a very good point. And one of the evidence that the Sunnah will be saved, you know the story of the false Messiah. When he comes to the Medina, the Medina to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Then he tried to enter, he found the angels. Then a young boy will come to him. Young man will come to him. And he will challenge him. And he will cut the young man to half and he walks in between. Okay, you know the story. So he tells the two half, come back, and they come back together. Then the false Messiah, see, I brought life to you after death. I am your Lord. Then he said, no. The Prophet ﷺ told us that you will do that. So that means the Sunnah saved all the way until the time of the false Messiah, which is the end of the days. That this Sunnah recognized. So here we say that the Sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ is part of what's been protected. That's why Abdul Mullah ibn al-Mubarak said, Wallahi la yakdhibu rajulun fi Khurasan. Yani in the end of the world. Okay? At that time Khurasan is very far. He made up a hadith, إِلَّا أَصْبَحَ النَّاسُ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ وَمِصْرَ وَالشَّامَ وَالْعِرَاقِ يَقُولُونَ كَذَبَ فُلَانٍ. Yani he is in end of Iran, north of Iran. He made up hadith. You will see the scholar of hadith in Egypt and Iraq and in Hijaz and everywhere saying he's a liar. He made up a hadith. They will figure it out. That's why when a man lied and attribute lies to the Prophet ﷺ, 4,000 hadith. Al-Mahdi, when he said, took him to be executed for his crime. He wanted to mislead people. So he said, save me. So I can tell you which hadith I fabricated. So Al-Mahdi looked at one of the scholars and this أظنه ibn Abi Hatim. He said, don't worry about him, or Abu Zur'a. He said, don't worry about him. We can easily figure out these 4,000 hadith. يَعِيشُ لَهَا الْجَهَابِدَةِ. The scholars, the smart, intelligent scholars will easily figure it out. لذلك قال الشافعي رحمه الله لا توجد سنة ولا حديث عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أجمعت الأمة على ضعفه وهو صحيح ولا يوجد نص عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أجمعت الأمة على صحته وهو ضعيف. It's impossible that you will find a single hadith that the ummah agreed it is weak and in reality it is correct. Or even there is a possibility it's correct. And vice versa. So that's something from Hifdullah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Quran. That's why anyone ever through the history tried to change the Quran, his effort was basically a waste of time. Everyone tried. And on the top of the list, the most famous people, the extreme Shi'i groups who claimed that Al-Quran changed and Al-Quran was fabricated, most of it, or good number of it. And there is verses missing from the Quran and so forth. All those claims completely were dismissed easily and it never was popular even among Shia themselves. Many of them could not buy this idea. Why? Because many reasons. Number one, that this Quran been saved by hundreds of thousands of people who dedicated their life for this book. They memorize it. The people who memorize the Quran in America, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, in Russia, in China, everywhere in the world, it's the same. Identical. There is no differences. There is, as Ash-Shatibi rahimahullah ta'ala said, he said, if one person change a verse in the Quran, the kids, he said, the kids in Al-Andalus in Spain, and the kids in Iraq, and the kids in Yemen, and the kids in Khurasan in Iran at that time will say, oh, he's a liar. Easy to be figured out. Can you imagine the amount of hafadah? Just to give you, to make a comparison, today in Pakistan, in Gujarat, is that what it's called? Gujarat and Julhum and Gujarat. In these two cities, there is not a single person, at least this is about 10 years ago, there's not a single child or a single basically person unless they memorize the Quran. It's known in the whole world as it has the highest number of huffaz inside these two. It's a village or cities. In Bangladesh itself, there is about 1 million hafiz al-Quran. 1 million person memorize the Quran. And I can go on, and this is everywhere. And it's and this is in 21st century. So how you think of 19, 18, 16, 15, before the print of the Quran? How about the 5th century? How many people do you think memorize the Quran? In the 4th and the 3rd and the 2nd century. It's unbelievable for someone today to claim that there is something missing in the Quran. And also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, nobody can change it. And by the way, because of this verse, لا مبدل لكلماته, Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah took the opinion that the Torah, the Old Testament, there is no change happened to it. And he said the Old Testament that you have in your hand today, it is the exact Old Testament that Allah gave Musa. Because no one can change Allah's words. And he took this from some of the Muqatil and others who said that. And this is what it seems to be his position when it comes, if you read it in Sahih al-Bukhari, by Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah ta'ala. And also this is what Ibn Taymiyyah said that al-Bukhari's position is. And not only him, there is a jama'ah min Ahlul Hadith, a group of Ahlul Hadith believe that there is no, the Old Testament, even the New Testament and the Bible, it is the exact words of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The change happened in interpreting it. When they translate it, there is where they put their own, adding their own translation to it. Otherwise, the original text. But the vast majority of the ulama, they don't agree with al-Bukhari rahimahullah with that. They said no, there is change happened to the book before us, which is addition, subtraction, phrases been added, substituting words with other words, something lost on the translations. Okay, so these kind of change happened to the books before us, but this book nobody can change it. Also, kalimatullah, nobody change Allah's words. Allah's words is either the thing that you read, which is His speech, or Allah's words, which is His orders. When He says, this happened, when He made a command with words. Allah حينما يأمر بكلماته ويخلق بكلماته. He creates with His words. Be and it will be exist. So they said, nobody can change that, what Allah says to be, what Allah command to happen. Why? Which one are the correct? Actually, no contradiction. They are both correct. Nobody changed Allah's words, which is that He sent down to the earth. And that's why Ibn Taymiyyah believes, I don't know if anyone agreed with Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah on that. It mentioned Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, it must remain on the face of the earth the original copy of the Torah and the original copy of Jesus' book. It must remain somewhere in the earth, but it's hidden. Maybe someone hide it, but the earth cannot be free from it. Because Allah said nobody can completely change the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows best. But anyway, here we say that nobody can change it because Allah said in the Quran, وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words are just and truthful. When it comes truthful fil akhbar, whatever information, it's a very truthful information. And just when it comes to the orders. عدل في الأحكام صدق في الأخبار. So because it's absolutely true, you cannot change. There is nothing to challenge. You said, oh, that's not correct, let me correct it. It's absolute true. And nobody, when it comes to the ruling, can say, this ruling is not very just, not fair, let me change it, let me do it. No, it's absolute just. So if it's absolute true and absolute just, you have no space. You have no claim. You can't change anything in it. Because you only change if it is less truth in it or less justice in it. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the perfect hakim, the perfect ruler subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا. Who can be more truthful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The only time Allah changed His rulings when He wants to make it, not because it's not just, because He wanted to be merciful, because He wanted to be graduate. And that's what you call abrogation in the Quran. Nobody can change Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's answer. That's why when the mushrikeen, many times they said, Ya Rasulullah, change the Quran, change this verse, change these rules. Every time they suggest the Prophet some change in the Quran. وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آياتنا بينات قال الذين لا يرجون لقاء نأت بقرآن غير هذا أو بدل. They said, Ya Muhammad, bring us another Quran. You change a little bit in it. That's the word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to us about them. قل ما يكون لي أن أبدله من تلقاء نفسي إن أتبع إلا ما يوحى إلي إني أخاف إن عصيت ربي عذاب يوم عظيم. This is Surah Yunus, verse 15. He said, I cannot change it from my own. I only recite to you what Allah revealed to me. I'm afraid if I disobey Allah, a great punishment in the great day, which is the day of judgment. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said here in Surah Al-Kahf, وَلَن تَجِدَ مِن دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. And none will you find as a refugee other than Allah. So Ya Muhammad, nobody can, if you ever even, they ask you to change Allah's words or Allah's Quran, no one ever will protect you. And no one will protect them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Multahada, يعني a way to escape. There is no way to escape from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya or in the day of judgment. So Ibn Jarir rahimahullah said, Ya Muhammad, if you do not recite, if you do not follow what I have sent to you in this book, you have no place to escape. You have no place to hide. You have no one to protect you from me. If Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah telling him that, what about me and you? What about the rest of the world? إن الذي فرض عليك القرآن لرادك إلى معاد. The one who have sent down the Quran to you, the one who made the Quran fard upon you, will return you back to him at certain point. And that's to Muhammad and to you and to me and to everyone. In Surah Al-Qasas, verse 58. And look, Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 67. What we learn from this verse, it's a beautiful verse. Number one, ما أعظم الفرق بين الفرار من الله والفرار إلى الله. There's a great difference between you run to Allah and you run away from Allah. It's a huge difference between the two. Those who run to Allah, Allah protect them. Those who run to Allah, Allah give them victory. It's like these young boys, they run to Allah by hiding into the cave. Okay? Their cave was not really that opening in the mountain. The real cave was their iman, their faith. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected them. Those who run away from Allah, الَّذِينَ فَرُّوا مِنَ اللَّهِ, no one can protect them. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَن تَجِدَ مِن دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. No one ever will protect you. You will never find a protection. You will never find peace away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will never find a satisfaction away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Humanity tried that and trying that, and everybody knows that. Sometimes running to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, necessitates from us certain sacrifice, to sacrifice things. Sacrifice. Come on, help me. Sacrificial. Tadhiyat. Yeah, sacrificial. Okay? Sometimes you might give up a little bit of your wealth, maybe extra money you're about to earn. Maybe you give up, even a job, even sometimes a place that you love. You give it up, but you know that what you're going to gain in the long run is much greater. Because your deen, your iman is much greater in your heart than anything in this worldly life. We learn from this verse that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordering us to recite the Quran. Reciting the Quran, one of the great reasons for thabat, for studying fasting on the deen of Allah, for facing the fitan. And it is it's an order to each and every one of us. Especially brothers and sisters, the du'at ila Allah. Especially the activists. Especially those who active in da'wah. And in America, I always focus on da'wah because I believe all of us in America are du'at ila Allah. All of us give da'wah. You cannot imagine a da'iyah whose relationship with the Quran is very weak, who do not recite and follow the Quran. And Nabi ﷺ recited the Quran and he practiced the Quran. That's why Aisha said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. His manners was nothing but Al-Quran. He applied whatever in the Quran in his life. So this is something very important to reflect upon. Also, this verse proves that Allah's words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, is made of words and letters. That's right. Allah's speech is made of words and letters. Why I'm saying this, maybe it sounds obvious, because in the history of Islam, there's a lot of people deny that. For example, one of the largest group in the world, Muslim world today, not yesterday, but today, okay, it is a group, it's called Al-Asha'ira, who claimed that Allah's speech, Allah's word, when he said Allah speaks, his speech is not the words, it's not letters, it's meanings. That he possessed certain meanings and Jibreel figured out these meanings and expressed it with words and letters. Or these meanings, Muhammad ﷺ figured it out somehow and he expressed these meanings with the words, which is the Quran. But they don't ever believe that kida Allah said, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ وَاو لَا تَقُول. They said, أعوذ بالله. They cannot believe in that. That's even worse. That's higher level. They said, some people said, no, this is so complicated. So they came up with this idea that the Quran is just something Allah made. Yani Allah made the pen to write this, but He never really spoke. Question, how this verse refute those who said Al-Quran is meanings that were Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possessed. It's not the words. Because Allah said, لا مبدل لكلماته. No one can change His words. They might say the words here means the meanings. We said, hey, regardless the words, how can I change what in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, for the lack of a better word, what's in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mind? How? Allah challenged us to change what in His mind? No, He challenged us what He revealed to us, the words. When He said, bring 10 verses, bring 2 verses, change Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words. No one can do that. No one can bring Quran better than what He said. Because these are His words, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's what He recited to Jibreel, and that's what Jibreel revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Also, yes. لا الأشاعرة is something appeared in the no, that has nothing to do with that at all. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari from Yemen, and Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari is not Arab. He's like even from the Iran area and that east, not from Arabia at all. طيب. Also, this verse is an excellent refutation to those who are saying today, we need to change the deen. Allah said nobody change His words. Those who claiming, let's discount the religion, let's change the religion to fit 21st century, to fit modernity, to fit America, to fit Egypt, to fit modern Arabia or modern society, that's rejected. Allah said follow the Quran. Nobody change Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ruling. And you should not change that. Also, this verse is really made Al-Quran in a very high status. Because it will never change. It will remain the same until the Day of Judgment. That's give you a sense of confidence in your religion. Your religion will remain until the end of the day. Today when people say, oh, the Islamophobe and Donald Trump and Madri Ish, I say, you know what, this guy Donald Trump and all these group people that talking and all this media attacking Islam, how old are they? 50, 60, 100, 200, 300? This religion is 1,400 plus years and still has in front of it thousands of years to come. Those people will vanish from the face of the earth. They will disappear. They will never remain. They have no legacy to leave behind them. While your religion will remain until the Day of Judgment. Just think about it this way. You will have that sense of confidence that nothing can shake you. Also, this is a verse where it shows you the importance of turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the time of good and ease and in the time of hardship and calamity. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's words cannot be changed. And words, kalimatuhu al-kawniyah wa shar'iyyah. And the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be related to the worldly life. So if He decides something, nobody can change it except Him. So if He decides that you're sick, no one can change that status except Him. If He decides you to die, decide your provision, decide your risk, the only one can change this fact is Allah. And also the thing that related to the religion. His words are the unchangeable. The only one changes Allah. Nothing, even your deeds cannot change it. Allah is the one who changes it. So if Allah say you go to Jannah, you are forgiven, you are rewarded, and you are punished or doomed. No one changes except Him. So that's make you always turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if this fact only really come into and you install it inside your heart, you will find al-ajaib, you will find in your life completely different. And you will find your soul will feel content by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as its creator. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. And keep yourself patient by being with those who call upon their Lord in the morning and the evening, seeking His countenance. No. Seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يريدون وجهه, يعني seeking His face. Let's put it this way. This verse has a reason behind it. There's a story behind it. Okay? And it's connected to the other verse in Surah Al-An'am, verse 52, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do not ask those who pray to their Lord, وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. And do not kick away or ask those who call upon their Lord in the morning and the evening to leave. Don't kick them out. Don't ask them to leave your gathering. You're not accountable for them. Okay? You should not ask them to be out or to kick them out, so you'll be among the transgressor. طيب. What this two verses talking about? These two verses talking about the people of Quraysh when they came to the Prophet ﷺ and they said, Ya Rasulullah, we would love to hear you. We would love to sit with you and listen to what you say. But every time we come to talk to you, we found these slaves and, people not in our level. We're way up there. We can't sit with those people. Bilal and Suhaib and Al-Farisi, that Persian slave, Salman, and all these, like, Salman was not there at the time, but Suhaib al-Rumi, the Persian, the one who from Rome, Roman slave, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the one who ran after the herd, just the little kids, 13 years old or 15 years old. I'm not going to go sit with those. We're the leader of Quraysh. So what do you want? The Prophet said, what do you want? Whatever it takes to give you da'wah, to sit with you and to have a conversation with you. Not conversation to show off, to just have a good time. No, to talk about Islam, to give them da'wah. They said, you kick them out. Or you ask them, you tell us about another place, and you come to us, and you leave them. If you don't want to kick them out, hard for you to kick them out, or have another place, you leave them, and you come to us. Let them sit. Two options. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam thought about it. Because as you know, if they became Muslim, maybe all their tribes come Muslims with them. Because that's how leaders are in many cases. When they became Muslim, all the followers come with them. In Africa, I heard about this person, he gives Shahada to 700 people. Like, mashallah, Shaykh Abdul Rahman Smith, I don't know how many million people he gave them Shahada. With millions, and numbers are millions. Bil-malayin. How? He go to the head of the tribe. This tribe is 7,000 people. He became Muslim, all of them became Muslims. That's how it works. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he sent to Herakl, the king of the Roman at that time, he said, فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتَ فَعَلَيْكَ إِثْمُ الْأَرِيسِيِّينَ. If you rejected Islam, you will carry the sin of all your people because they're going to follow you. So that's the nature. So the Prophet started thinking about that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade him even to think about this. And he said, be patient. Resist that temptation in you to go for the sake of giving da'wah and abandoning your own friends, abandoning the believers. It's hard on the Prophet ﷺ to see an opportunity for da'wah not to go for it. But it basically has to make a choice between these two choices. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade him from that. طيب. As-sabr, be patient, it means you, هو الحبس, هو إلزام النفس, is to make a commitment, to commit, okay, to be with those poor individuals from the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the issue is not poor or rich. The issue is not old or young. The issue, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you be patient with those who what? Who poor? No. Did Allah say anything about money or poverty? No. He said, He described them by this description. الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. Those who pray to their Lord in the morning and in the evening. طيب. What is it pray? يعني making dua in the morning and the evening? They said pray. Actually, they make dua because in the beginning of Islam, the Muslim used to pray only 2 times. Then after that was, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Isra al-Mi'raj, 5 times. So it was in the morning and afternoon, al-Asr and al-Fajr. They said those who pray or make dua in Fajr and Asr prayer. Or it meant they make dhikr, dua and subhanallah, alhamdulillah, morning and evening. And said those who read Quran in the morning and in the evening. Whatever Quran had been revealed that time. And I don't believe any one of these opinions contradict each other. That's led me to say, ad-dua here means dua al-ibadah, which it means those who worship Allah in the morning and in the evening. Okay? So it means that those people committing themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their daytime and nighttime. Because al-ghadat is the early time of the morning. And al-ashi, it is basically the end of the morning and the beginning of the night. So that means if they start strong in the day, and they start strong and they end strong in the day, and they start strong in the night, and by the next day they start strong, so that means the whole entire day is fulfilled with dua, with salah, with qira'at al-Quran, reading Quran and so on. It's like when you say, this person day and night doing nothing but playing games. Yani it means most of his day and night doing this. Doesn't mean literally 24 hours. That's right. Day and night sleeping. It doesn't mean that sleeping 24 hours. It means he sleeps a lot during the day. So that's what means day and night. Al-ghadat wal-ashi. Yani all the time they are making ibadah, reading Quran, reciting dhikr and so forth. Yuriduna wajha. They're seeking his face. Yani it means they're seeking the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's something common in Arabic language. You mention part of something and you mean the whole thing. Okay? So for example, I saw your tail light. It means I saw your car. Even I mention part of the car. So that's what it is. They mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's face, but they mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah has face as He has hand, as He speaks, as He sees, as He hears, and all this in the way that it is belong to Allah. We don't know how He is, so we don't know how His attributes looks like. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, nothing similar to Him. And some people said face, Allah doesn't have face. Face, it means His sake. That's completely wrong. That's wrong in Arabic language and in Sharia. Why? Because Allah many times described Himself that He has a face. He said, for example, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. A little bit of Arabic grammars for those who knows. ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. And what remain? The face of your Lord, Dhul, the one which possess Al-Jalal, the greatness, the might, okay? Wal-Ikram. This description, Al-Jalal wal-Ikram, the might and the greatness, is a description of the Lord or the face of the Lord. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ. Is it Al-Jalal wal-Ikram? Is a description to the Lord or the face of the Lord? No, the face. Why? Because وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ, it's fa'il, has dhamma. رَبِّكَ, it's mudaf ilayh, so it is maksur. Okay? And al-kaf, which is al-dhamir al-muttasil al-mabni al-fath. Then you have dhu, which is sifa, a description. And the description always follow what is describing. So if what it is describing has dhamma, it has to have rafa'. If it is nasb, fatha, it has to have fatha. So dhu, al-waw represents the dhamma. So dhu, it is describing the face. Otherwise, if it's describing the word Rabb or Lord, it will be Dhil Jalali wal Ikram. Linguistically, there is no way out of that. And when you have something that Allah describe it with another descriptions, it means it never meant to be metaphorical. إذا وصف الموصوف بصفة منع المجاز. When there is something you describe it and you give it multiple description, that means impossible to be what? Metaphor. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He has hand. Then He said that His hand has fingers. It means hand cannot be figurative speech. He said that His hand, He roll it, He takes, He gives. It never can be at this moment that it is complete figurative speech. It means He has a real hand because He described it with certain actions. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a face, but it does belong to Him. We don't know how it looks like. It's the most beautiful thing, and it is the most rewarding thing ever in Jannah, is to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's face. That's why when people say Allah's face means His reward, the people of Jannah are going to see His reward. What's the point from seeing the face of Allah? Already they're seeing the reward in Jannah. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and do not look to an other than them. Don't look at the leader of Quraysh thinking that they are the most important to be Muslims. Don't look at them that you think that they're special. No. Value what you have, Ya Muhammad. Be with those because the real value of the person and what he believes in. Those people have no intention of being mu'min. Have no intention to believe. They only want to separate you from your friends and hurts their feelings. Looking for zinatul hayati dunya. This not referring to the Prophet ﷺ that he's seeking the adornment of the world. No. That's looking at referring to the kuffar of Quraysh, that they prefer the adornment of the world than leaving it and living and being like the poor. Because if you became Muslim, you turn to be like among the poor people. This verse is perfect when I see a white guy become Muslim. You know, why? Because white person in our society is, this is the reality, like it or not, in so many cases, they dominate the country. They feel that they are on the top of basically of the society, among the elite. Things are so different for them. So for someone in that socially feel that he's that high, then all of a sudden he became Muslim, he all the way go down to be among the most discriminated group in the meantime in America. After being more of the mainstream, the one who nobody mess with, and things much easier for them, their life. Okay? And I said to them, don't be, some people, can be an obstacle for them to be Muslims. And I think that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, there is less number of white people became Muslims than other races. Because he lose status in the society by just being a Muslim. You lose status in the society. And that can be a challenge. And he became Muslim, that show a good level of commitment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا. Don't obey, don't follow those who their heart is basically, don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're heedless. Their hearts attached to something other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they don't mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very interesting. Did you notice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا. ما قال من أغفلنا لسانه عن ذكرنا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He said, and do not obey him whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance. He didn't say his tongue is heedless. He said his heart is heedless. Because the worst type of heedless is the heart heedless. You might see someone saying, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha. You might see someone reading, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, but his heart is heedless. His heart is somewhere else. He's reading, he's making dhikr, but he's not there. And that's why the Quran specifically mentioned the issue of the heart. Because the true dhikr, what comes from the heart, then appear on the tongue. And this is something very powerful. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what will happen if your heart not attached to Allah? It will be attached to your desire. And that's why He said next to that, وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. He follow his desires. And it means he rather to follow what his desire says over what Allah said. And if you do that, what happened to you? كَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, and when you do that, you follow your own lust, your desires, and whose affair and deeds has been lost. The word is more powerful than this translation. وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. Mujahid said, lost, which is, he translated here. It means he lost his time and his life after nothing. There is no benefit. He wasted his life, and maybe it's more powerful. And another scholar said, nadama. His life became a regret. That moment before you die, and the history of your life run in front of your eyes, he find out there is nothing worth watching. There is nothing worth remembering. Regret. His life became a regret. Or his life has always been away from the truth, away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And furuta also give you that, al-fard, it means, what do you call that? When you have a bunch of stones and you threw them, what will happen to them? Scatter. And his life is scattered. He's all over the place. Because when you come to Allah, you became in one path, straight path. But when you leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُ السُّبُلِ, you'll be scattered all over the place. تَفَرَّقْ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِ. SubhanAllah, you get scattered. You're like all over the place. Have no rest. But when you unify yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, life is completely different. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us strength and thabat, and make us among those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. We'll end here because now it is exactly 55 minutes actually. We started 7:35, or a little bit even more. But anyway, inshallah, when we come back, just remember this verse, because I have wrote 10 lessons we can learn from this verse, from these two verses, and this verse actually. 10 lessons, maybe even 11, I don't remember now. So hopefully, inshallah, we will share these lessons, and very relevant lessons, inshallah, next week. Yes, go ahead, Ibrahim.